Hello, welcome back. Um, I'm going to ask you today, how many times in the last few weeks you've got to the end of your work week and been utterly thrilled for the weekend, only for it to flash by super, super quick. Before you know it, you've got work the next day and that nagging dread kicks in. That feeling of, ugh, I don't want to be back at work already. Now, many of us have that feeling, just because work can be a drag. Many of us have to do things that we don't necessarily want to do. But if that's happened recently for you, today's episode will help because we're going to try and figure out the root cause of that feeling so we can start to make positive changes. It might just be thinking about things a little bit differently, or it might be that there's things in your week that, just fill you with dread. Just go, oh God, I really hate that one thing on a Monday, on a Wednesday, whatever it is. So we're going to dive into that today. And yeah, hopefully we can kind of get rid of some of the Sunday dread, or at least make it a little bit easier for you. So welcome to The Reset with me, Kat Burton. This is a show for anybody who, you might look fine on the outside, but on the inside you are struggling. If you are burned out, overwhelmed, feeling lost, feeling a bit misaligned, heck, if you hate Mondays, we're going to get through it together, one small step at a time. So yeah, let's get on with it. So if you're here, I am guessing you probably get the Sunday dread. I've been there. Often it can come from things being misaligned or stressful things, many, many things going on. So we're going to dive into that today. The Sunday dread doesn't have to happen on a Sunday. If your work week starts on a Wednesday, then you might call it the Tuesday dread. It's not specific to a certain day. It's more just a common name for that vibe of, I've had my free time, I've had a weekend, I've had my day off, I've had my holiday, and now I'm going back to the day job, to work, to the thing that I have to do. It might not always be work related, might be something else, it might be another obligation. And there's that feeling of dread. It feels like that impending doom. And it's a horrible feeling. And we don't want to be living our lives feeling this dread, especially if it's something to do with work where it's every single week, because over time that can really battle you down. It can make you very battle worn. So what does that Sunday dread look like and feel like for you? The first thing we want to do is take a look at that, because if we can identify what it feels like, that's going to help us know, right, what is the emotion tied to this? Is it anxiety? Is it fear? Is it imposter syndrome? Is it, oh, I'm looking forward to my week, but I'm really worried that I'm going to fail at this one thing? Is it that you've got a big deadline and you're not sure you're going to hit it? Or is it a recurring thing of, there's this one person at work that really, really drains me, and I have to do a call with them on every Monday morning. And it's just such a rubbish start to the week because you're going to come in on Monday trying your best to ramp up, and then that person's going to sap your energy. And what does it feel like for you? Let's take a little moment, think about it. Is it anxiety? Is it your typical fear response? Is it that you feel sad? Does it feel like you just don't want to be doing this job anymore? Does it feel like you want to make a big change? Now, sometimes you can make a big change, sometimes you can't. But let's think about next, when did it start? Because sometimes we just go through a dip, as Seth Godin would call it. His book, The Dip, is one of my favorite books. It's got me through many things. I will put a link to that in the show notes. But yeah, The Dip is one of my favorite books. And often we can go through life going, oh, we're just having a bit of a bad few months, or this particular time at work is really, really stressful because we've got a deadline, or we've got fundraising, or we've got something else coming up. It might not be a persistent thing. It might be something that, just started a couple of weeks ago. And if you can identify when it started, you might be able to identify when it would likely end. So, for example, if it is about a deadline, fundraising, some big thing going on, you're going to know when that deadline's due, when you need to get that fundraising done by. So you can see, oh, the end is in sight. And just knowing that, identifying when it started and identifying when it might end, might give you a bit of freedom from it. It might make you go, do you know what? I know this is tough, but the end is in sight. The light is at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to be all right. If, however, it started longer ago than that, and you look at it and go, I don't think there is an end in sight to this one, because it's pervasive. It happens every single week. Those are the ones that we need to really look at. We really need to look at how has this come about and what can we do about it. So if you're struggling with this, I'm going to give you a few ideas for things that might kickstart your list. And it might be that there are one or two big obvious things, but spend a bit of time with it, because sometimes the most nefarious issues are the ones that might not seem big, but they happen every day or every week. That big deadline that is coming in however long, 2 months, that's not a recurring thing. Yes, that's a big stressor, but once it's done, a big load of stress is going to ease up. But if there's a small thing that happens once a week, twice a week, fairly regularly, that's going to chip away at you more than probably those big things, because they're pervasive. They're there all the time. So what is it that's making you dread going back to work on a Monday? What's giving you that Sunday dread? Is it your commute? Is it the thought of getting up and getting on that blooming bus or the tube or the train, getting in your car and getting stuck in rush hour traffic? Is it that? Is it a Monday morning meeting that could most definitely be an email or a Slack thread? Is it the fact it's a 9 to 5 and you're someone like me who really struggles with a 9 to 5? Turns out that was ADHD. Who knew? But yeah, maybe you're that person who you just think, God, meetings, I don't want to be on camera. It just doesn't work for me. Is it an inbox that you think, I'm going to have received loads of emails since Friday or since I last shut off work, and I'm going to be overwhelmed coming in? I know the second I open my laptop or look at my computer, there's going to be too much there. Is it a recurring meeting with a particularly difficult person? It might not be like a big regular team thing. It could just be one person that absolutely saps your life force. Is it that? Once you identify the things that drain you, you can start to work on those. So I'm sure if you listen to this, there's probably something that's going in your mind. I know I've certainly got ones from my past jobs or things that have been going on. One of my big ones personally was whenever I end up doing a full-time job or a big freelance contract, if it's a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6, I feel this pressure to be at my desk constantly. And it's this weird feeling of, I feel trapped. And it took me a while to get to the bottom of it. So sometimes you might have this, I just don't like being at my desk on a Monday. Or I feel a bit drained by the end of the day. But try and go deeper. Try and come up with the top things and think about, but what is the specific? What is the thing in this that makes you not feel great? And try and go deeper on it as to what it is. Because once you go deeper and you get to the root cause, you can start to solve it. If you don't go deep, you can end up solving the wrong thing. And I've been there. I've tried to solve my problems by quote unquote fixing the wrong thing many, many times. We often look for the big obvious things and avoid the difficult conversations or avoid the difficult things. So make your list, try and get to the root of it and see if there's little things you can do. So for example, if your commute is really, really bothering you, speak to your manager, speak to your team. Heck, if you're the boss, it's easy enough to make this change. See if you can commute at a different time. Can you get to the office earlier and leave earlier? Or can you go in later and work later so you avoid rush hour? Can you switch to hybrid? Can you switch to fully remote? Do you really need to be in the office? What can you do to make your commute just that little bit easier? If you are stuck with a commute and you have to be in the office for 9:30 and you know that commute is going to be an hour long, right? What can you do on that commute to recharge your battery, to make it more enjoyable? Is it a podcast? Is it an audiobook? Is it just reading a book? Can you take a notepad and sketch, draw? Can you be thinking about the things you want to achieve in life, the things that you want to do at the weekend. Try and make it something positive. If you can use an hour a day or half an hour a day of that commute constructively, you'll feel a lot more positive about it. And often it's just a reframing can make the world of difference. If we can make something feel a little bit more positive, we're going to bring more of that positive energy and we'll start to resent things a little bit less. If there's a blooming Monday morning meeting, I mean, they're the bane of most people's existences at work. But if it could have been an email or a Slack thread, maybe question it. Many of us came up through that work culture of, right, we're going to do a stand up every morning at 10 a.m. And the whole point of a stand up was that you stand up because it's going to take 10 minutes, but actually now you sat down for half an hour every day and it depletes everybody's energy because you came in on Monday and you want your coffee and you want to kickstart your week and it's not really serving the team anymore. Could that be an async Slack thread? Or could you time box that meeting to make it shorter? If you're not the one in control of those things, maybe bring it up, maybe ask, or maybe raise it because chances are other people are feeling that too. If you find that meetings are exhausting as well, and I find this, I have to conserve my bandwidth for my coaching clients, which is one of the many reasons why I've put this podcast to audio only, is because seeing myself on camera, sitting on a webcam, I feel like I have to perform. You feel like you're at school. You feel like you have to sit at a desk. You have to sit still. Don't fidget. Look straight ahead. Try and read the room, which is really hard when you can't read body language fully. You've got to try and time when you interject. Or maybe you're spending so long trying to think about a good point you want to make that by the time you get there, everybody's moved on to a new topic. Meetings can be absolutely exhausting when they are virtual. So do what you can to make them a bit easier. Maybe you can ask to turn your camera off. Maybe it's nice to see people's faces for the first 5 minutes, but after the first 5 minutes, you have a policy of once we've done the initial bit, you can turn your camera off if you like. And it lets you act a little bit more naturally, look around your room, pace about a little bit, fidget, especially if you're neurodivergent, trying to sit still is exhausting. You don't want to be wearing a mask in every meeting. If meetings are painful or you dread them, chances are they're just not built for you and the way your brain is wired. So think about ways meetings can be more manageable. If you're worried about an inbox that's overflowing since Friday and feeling like you're going to have that urgency, maybe what you could do is set aside time to clear that inbox. So you're not constantly playing whack-a-mole as an email comes in, but you time box it. Maybe you do half an hour before or after lunch where you go, do you know what? Just in half an hour, I'm going to blitz as many emails as I can. Don't have to be all of them. I'm going to time box it and just get a bunch of them done. Because sometimes when we feel like we have to play constant whack-a-mole, constant catch-up, and more stuff's coming in, as you reply to people, they reply back, and it feels never-ending. If you can batch it, it will make your life easier. If you've got a particularly difficult person, that can be really, really hard. Really, really hard. If you are not in leadership, then you can obviously raise this with your manager if you find some meetings particularly difficult. If you're neurodivergent, it can be really difficult as well, but I would hope that work will support you in those ways. If you feel like I often have where you can be quite confident one-on-one, but in a group situation, you are really, really quiet. I'm always quiet in a group meeting because I'm constantly processing what everybody else is saying. And by the time the meeting's done, I'm overwhelmed. I have got nothing to add because I feel like I've got this backlog of other people's input that I need to process. And that's exhausting. And that could be a group situation or that could be an individual. It might just be that your personalities are very different. So think about what you need and what you can do. And sometimes we don't have the control on that, but we can raise it with other people. If someone drains you or you feel like you get talked over and you can't be heard, you can do simple things like putting your hand up in a meeting, or you can do async messaging instead. Makes it a bit more equitable, a bit more back and forth. You could also mention to leadership, hey, I don't feel like I get the opportunity to speak because there's never enough of a pause. And maybe look at ways to teach the team that, for the most part, you want meetings to be equitable in terms of the amount that is said, the amount that's contributed. If one person is never heard from, and again, if you're in leadership, actually, this is a good tip. If one person's particularly quiet, if you notice that, ask them for their input, ask them for their opinion, ask them. There's always things that we can do. There are always things that we can do, and they can be small. Now, they can be really, really scary, though, even if they're tiny, even if it is just saying, hey, can I come in half an hour later? Because my commute is brutal. And if I come in half an hour later, I can hit the gym in the morning. I'll be more energized. I'm going to miss rush hour and I'm going to have way more energy for work. I can't imagine many leaders that would say no to that. If you are the leader, if you are the boss, if you're the founder, if you're the CEO, whatever role you are, if you have the power to make that call, then do it. Communicate it with somebody and let people know your needs. I think often when we have dread over things, we have fear, it's because we're people pleasing. We are ignoring our own needs and we're not speaking up. And speaking up is scary. It can put you at risk of being shot back down. People can say no. And if they do, well, at least you know you've tried. All you can do is try. Hopefully people will say yes. Another little question that I wanted to ask is, if you're getting these Sunday scaries, we've talked about, right, what is it about Mondays that are really, really terrible? But let's think about the end of your week as well. So on a Friday, what can you do to make your life easier on a Monday? Is it just a simple thing of maybe clearing your inbox at the end of a Friday? Set aside half an hour on a Friday to do admin. Nobody likes doing admin. Admin's boring as hell. But if you can set aside a little bit of time, that might make life a little bit easier for you. So that when you come in on Monday, you've got a clear deck. Maybe you're preparing your to-do list on a Friday night or end of your work week so that when you come in, you know exactly what you're going to need to do. Maybe it's protecting your time on a Monday morning. Maybe you make Monday morning in your calendar focus time. Because if you can make that little bit of time focus time where you can ramp up into your week and just get ahead of all the things that need to be done, do any firefighting, catch up after the week, make your plan for the week. Maybe it isn't the full morning, maybe it's just half an hour. What can you do to make the start of your week easier? I'm sure there are plenty of things you can do. So I want you to think about all those things. I know I certainly have. It's been one of those things that's been a real game changer for me, actually. Big one for me was realizing that I don't suit a 9 to 5. Knowing that I need to be able to flex my day so I can go to the gym, so I can get out for a walk. If I don't do those things, that's a surefire way I will burn out. So think about the things that give you that Sunday dread, that make you feel really stressed or anxious about going back to work, and name them. Maybe talk to a friend about them and have a think about, if you're not in leadership, how you could speak to a leader or somebody you trust at work to just bounce some of the things. And if you are the leader, heck, you can probably make a bunch of those changes. I hope you can, even if it's just a small one, even if it's just, if you can't change when meetings are, but you could say, hey, do you mind if we just turn the cameras off after the first 5 minutes? If that just makes life easier, I'm sure most people would happily oblige. So yeah, your action point for this episode, just make that list. Identify little causes that might add up to making you feel dread every week. Yes, you've got the big things, but think of the small things, small regular things that slowly chip away at your energy. Come up with those. And even if you can just list them, that's the start, but try and slowly start chipping away at them. And I promise you, if you can chip away at each little thing over time, your weeks will get easier and easier. Okay, that is everything for today. If you found any of this content helpful, please do me a huge favor. I've recently restarted this podcast and I'm trying to provide helpful content, things that have helped me when running businesses, as an employee, as a freelancer, and just in my life in general, to help me live a more happy and sustainable, successful life. If this has helped you, give me a wee follow, please, or maybe share it with a friend if you think it would help them. That all just helps me know I'm on the right track. And if this just resonates with one person, and I'm doing all right because that's my only goal is to help one person with each episode. If you do have any specific questions or anything you would like answered, please head over to gothboss.co.uk/podcast and send me a little message over there. I would genuinely really, really love to hear from you, even if it's just comments, thoughts. But yeah, questions would be great. I would love to start doing some more Q&A style episodes where I answer more of your questions. And finally, just a quick reminder, as always, I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a doctor. I'm not an accountant or lawyer, any of that. I am simply a recovering people pleaser who worked super hard, survived many burnouts, hit the top of the career ladder, realized I've got ADHD, and just discovered that I don't find my job fulfilling, or at least I didn't. Um, I've often wondered how the hell did I get here? Clearly been on autopilot my whole life. And now I'm trying to build a happy, successful, sustainable life on my own terms. If any of that resonates with you, please do join me on this journey. Thank you very much for listening today. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. Thank you for trusting me. I will see you next time. Goodbye.